Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Test Drive podcast. I'm your host, Lee Bodette. I'm the host of Test Drive on the YouTube channel. Been in broadcasting radio-wise for over 40 years, and of course, a car enthusiast my entire life. So today, our guest is Cody Durkin. Cody, where are you from?
I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas, for most of my life, but I'm here in St. Albans, Vermont now.
And you obviously are passionate about sport cars. What got you into liking sport cars?
Growing up in Texas, obviously, there's a lot of fast cars. The environment, being in and out of a drag strip at a very young age, the smell of ethanol, or some would say corn, in the air really kind of drew me to it.
So now you're in the cold weather state of Vermont, and you haven't lost your passion for sport cars. Tell us about some of the sport cars that you've owned.
So I originally started off with a 2002 Ford GT that had basically just an intake and some cams, and that was really it, and a Flowmaster exhaust.
So what do you mean by cammed?
So the cam shafts were a bigger lobe, so it has a really choppy sound to it, or a little bit more of a rough idle.
Okay. What other cars have you owned?
I've had an Audi TT. I didn't really do anything to that. And I've had a Subaru WRX 2019 that was a drag build. So it had a STI transmission swapped into it. Full brakes. We also did a built block. We did a closed deck from IAG. We had a big turbo kit on it, a 5862 precision turbo, dynoed somewhere just shy of 600 wheel.
Now, did you order that car special?
Nope. I bought it brand new and basically just kept adding horsepower to it.
Is there some type of a Subaru manufacturing / design plant in Vermont?
Yep, that is sport.
It's somewhere in Colchester, Milton, Vermont, I guess, and they customize vehicles, don't they?
Yeah, Vermont Sports Car.
Okay.
I believe right over in Milton is where they are.
And I've heard that this is renowned around the country.
Yep.
Do you know much about that?
Yes, they actually wanted to sponsor some of the parts on this car, but we never got around to it with the pandemic and everything. But the guys who built the Subaru, it's a local shop, very well known in Vermont for all of its tuning capabilities and Subaru platform. That's going to be Nick and Jason at VEMS Tuning.
So I've heard they give tours, and the facility is really fascinating.
Yep.
That's cool. Very cool. So what are you driving today?
I'm in a 2022 Toyota Supra.
A 2022 Supra, and I'm guessing you didn't leave it stock.
It is not stock any longer. Currently, with the newer generations of the Supras, they have a lock from the manufacturer, so you cannot tune or modify the ECU, but there has been a workaround in it by a company in Finland. So basically, they hand deliver your ECU to unlock it to get by for tuning, and we've been working on it a little bit since then.
Well, you showed me that car, and I could have sworn when you first bought that car, it was a different color.
Correct.
Yeah. What'd you do to that thing?
It was the factory Renaissance Red, but I did wrap it Nardo Gray, put a bigger set of wheels on it, so it's got 305s in the back now, and 275 up front. I do have a drag pack coming in for it as well. That will be paired up with some Mickey Thompsons for the Canada trips that I plan to do this summer at the drag strip.
I got to tell you, I was really amazed when I saw that in the charcoal gray. Is that what they call it?
Yep. Some will know it as Nardo Gray. It's the more popular color.
Really? hard to tell. I don't know if you can tell that car. It was originally red, wasn't it?
Yes, it was red, wrapped in gray by VT Wraps.
Why did you decide to do the Nardo gray?
Red was a little flashy. Wasn't the original color I was looking for on the car, but you know, I felt gray was very subtle.
Did you say you're going to take it to Canada?
Yep.
And in Vermont, you're not that far away from Canada, are you?
No, it's about an hour. It's the closest drag strip to us, up in Naperville.
What are your plans when you get there? I mean, is that something that it's a competition, or are you just going to go up there and?
No, just kind of a baseline to see where the car is, see what it's doing. According to, you know, everyone else's research and testing and tuning and stuff, the car should safely be running 10-second quarters.
So what are your future plans for the Supra? Are you done?
So right now, we're going to be doing a little bit of horsepower every year until we reach stock block capabilities. Right now, the world record for stock block is 8.5 second quarter mile, which is very impressive for any 6-cylinder motor.
Yeah, I'd say so. So you are into this vehicle, lock, stock, and barrel, as they say.
Yeah, right now, all we've done to it is we're still awaiting a tune, but we've added a MagnaFlow catback exhaust, a 5-inch downpipe, and a methanol kit.
So right now we're talking with Cody Durkin, who is a car enthusiast, as am I, and he's telling us all about his 2022 Supra. What's next for Cody Durkin in the sport car world?
Basically awaiting a tune from Jordan Tune LLC, a very popular and renowned BMW tuner, as well as Supra. As those who don't know, the inline 6 in the Supra is from BMW.
Some really, really good information. I just want to go back to the Subaru a little bit. It seems to me the younger generation, I'm sounding old now, but the younger generation seems to love to buy those Subarus. The one that you just mentioned, the WRZ, is that what it is?
WRX.
WRX, excuse me. And they like to, as they say, soup them up. Why do you think that is?
Cheap performance, I would say. The aftermarket scene is very big for them. A lot of accessible parts, very easy to access tuners for them. And the cars, you know, are in the range of anywhere from 25 to 35 grand.
So it seems like every car that you've had, you've done something to it. What is your advice for somebody who wants to get a vehicle to their own specifications? What kind of homework did you have to do on it, and what kind of digging did you have to do to get what you wanted your vehicle to look like in the outcome at the end?
So this really comes down to everyone personally. I mean, depending on, you know, what your end goals are with. So if you want something that looks pretty and makes a lot of horsepower on a dyno, that's doable, but it may not be great for street driving. So that's one thing, you know, everyone's got to figure out, you know, what their personal goals are. Are you a time attack car? Are you going to do quarter mile? You know, are you going to do half mile rolls? It all depends on what everyone's personal goal is with it, but recommend no matter what, you have to pair up with a good shop and tuner that understands what you're trying to do. And
how did you go about that, finding a good shop and a good tuner?
Well, VEMS, they built the Subaru. Good friend of mine, Nick, you know, he's been along. He understood all the goals as we went. They made it happen for the Subaru, and I mean, they are absolutely phenomenal, you know, mechanic engineers there. So I've trusted them with my Supra, you know, and they've recommended a tuner. So I went with their recommendation, and this guy has world records in the BMW world for some of the fastest.
Wow.
You know, quarter miles.
Well, I don't want to get into too much here as far as cost goes, but can you give us some idea as to what the Supra cost stock and what?
So you'll be looking at, which I have a 3.0 premium, You'll be looking at an MSRP of right around 56, 58, depending on what accessories it has on it. I did get the higher end, so it was at the 58 range. And I would say with the ECU unlock and meth kit to make right around 550 wheel, 600 torque, that was about $3,000 in modifications. So very cheap for horsepower.
I don't know if there's anything cheap about this conversation, but I guess how did you know who to contact with this about information like that? This vehicle.
The Supra forums have been a huge help as far as figuring out trial and error and things to avoid, what things to not waste your money on, and kind of figure out how easy it is to make horsepower on this car. Back before they locked the ECUs, all it costed was a $500 downpipe, and you can make reliably 550, 600 wheel torque. So I would say that's a very fast car for only 3,400 pounds.
Yeah, well, I haven't known you that long, but I know you do have a great passion for vehicles. What is Cody Durkin? Let me rephrase that. What can we expect from Cody Durkin's line of vehicles in 5 to 10 years?
I would see myself with the Supra for a longer time, as the platform is really easy. If you want 1,000, the Supra can make 1,000. That's not a problem. So I kind of found it that the Supra is like the right place where I want to be with the vehicle. The only thing I could possibly see myself adding to this collection is maybe a GR Corolla.
There you go. I want to see that one, that's for sure. Cody, thanks for being with us today. Cody Durkin from Vermont, and that was really a fascinating subject and learning about all of your different vehicles that you've had. You've had 4 really, really nice ones, but the Supra is not done yet, and I really look forward to seeing it when it's completely done to the way you want it done.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much again. And we want to thank everybody for listening to the Test Drive podcast. I'm your host, Lee Bodette. Check out our Test Drive series on YouTube. And we'll see you next time on our Test Drive podcast. And remember, let's never forget the men and women serving this great country of ours. Goodbye, everybody.